Well, Wade and I are pleased once again to sit down with another one of our members. Richard Powell has been with us since about October 2010. And we're really grateful to be able to spend some time with him and to hear his experience with the MACD3 system, and especially with the 20 trade challenge. So thanks, Richard, for your time today.
No problem. No problem. Great to be here.
I'm glad to have you. So just to jump into it, if you wouldn't mind, tell us a little bit about yourself and specifically, what your career is or has been prior to trading, and what made you decide to become a Forex trader, and kind of how long you've been at it before you came to the MACD3 system.
Well, I helped my brother run a family business for over 20 years, and we sold that a few years ago, and so basically I thought at that point in time it'd be good to learn to invest and to trade and to figure out how to do that. So that's what I did for right before I got into trading.
Fantastic. And now, how long have you been trading in the Forex, if you were to kind of guesstimate?
I've been trading. I started off with options and stocks and things like that, but I've been trading Forex for about 3 years now, and doing it for about 3 years.
Okay, and so what have been, in 3 years, I'm sure you've had quite a few challenges. What are some of the challenges that you've faced up to that point, especially prior to coming to the MACD3 system?
Well, the funny thing about it is, I looked at Forex and I went, oh my God, this is going to be great. It's going to be great to do. So I went on the great quest to find a really good system. And what I found out was there were so many systems out there that would work for a few months and then they would break down and they wouldn't work. And there were also these great systems that claimed, you just punch a button and the next morning you'll be a millionaire. And, those, I ran across too many scams and too many systems that almost worked some of the time, part of the time. And that was my experience until I found you guys. So that was it.
Awesome. Okay, so it is kind of tough to kind of sift and sort through some of the information available out there. That's for sure.
Yeah. This is Wade. That's one of the issues that when we really kind of kept our head down and tried to just focus on developing and refining a MACD3 system, because every time we ventured out just to take a little look and see what was out there, 9 times out of 10, it was, people talked about it and it really wasn't all that it was cracked up to be, or it was 90% accurate or 100% accurate, but that's because they never closed out for losses and never used stop losses and things like that. Well, those systems just they're not going to be very long-lived. As far as this is concerned, since the focus of this interview is a lot about the 20 trade challenge that Mark Douglas talks a lot about, if you wouldn't mind elaborating on your experience with the 20 trade challenge and how has it helped you with your trading, and what type of results have you gotten on that?
Well, because I had gone through so many systems before I found you guys, I thought the key would be, I just find a system that works consistently and works really well, and that'll be it. There won't be any problem. Well, when I started working with you guys, it's like, oh my God, I have found it. I have found the system that works 75, 85, 90% of the time. This is it. It's going to be smooth sailing from here on out. And what I ran into, and I told you guys this briefly before, was I ran into ghosts of systems past. I would find that as I stepped into using the MACD3, I would get a few pips in, and I would find myself panicking, going, oh my God, I've got some pips, I better grab them now. Rather than completely doing the MACD3 system as you teach it, which works really, really well, I would find myself getting out early, and while I would get out early, I would get out early when I would have a winner, but I would hang in there when I'd have a loser. And I would hang in there and lose the entire, stop loss. So even though I had a pretty decent percent of wins, I wouldn't let it roll. I wouldn't let the winners go, and I wouldn't cut my loss, and I just didn't do the system full on. I have a friend who says 99% is a pitch and 100% is a breeze, and that is completely true with doing that. So the 20 trade challenge helped me to overcome the psychological aspect, the psychological bumps in the road that I was doing, and that was great.
If you don't mind elaborating on this, it's purely up to you. But what type of results, percentage-wise, and things like that, has ended up coming through from that challenge?
Well, when I first started, I kept feeling, well, really, do I want to do this 20 trade challenge? I'd read Mark Douglas's book a few years back, and unfortunately, I didn't have a great system to work. So I tried it back then, but I just kind of tossed it aside. When you mentioned it to me, Steve, not too long ago, I went into it and I went, okay, this will work. And so being able to relax and completely, just go, well, I'm just going to do the system 100%, and it's okay if I have a loser. What happened was I had the first 20 trades out, I had 75% winners. I had 15 wins and 5 losses, but I got over 283 pips in that first 20 trades.
Nice.
It just broke all kinds of crystals around the fear that I had of trading, and it's like, oh my God, I can do this. And it was really nice. It was really nice.
So would you say that was, I guess that would be a turning point for you then in your trading?
That's right, because I knew I had the system. I knew the MACD3 system was the winning system. I'd watched you guys for a year keep churning out consistent, amazing results. And the only thing keeping me from that was my own fear. And the 20 trade exercise that I did broke through all that. It's like, okay, I see how this works, and I see it in chunks of 20 rather than taking it one trade at a time, and it made all the difference in the world.
Awesome. I guess Mark Douglas knows a thing or two about trading.
Yes, yes, he does.
Well, on that note, why would you recommend the MACD3 training program to other traders, to other Forex traders?
Well, with what you guys are doing, the system, hands down, is the best system I've ever seen, anywhere. And, you guys put in so much time to support people in learning this system. I mean, I think you're available at least 15 hours a week, maybe more, to support people in learning the system. And the system is solid. The system is good. The system is not that complex once you get into it. And so the system is solid, and it's consistent. I've been with you guys for over a year, and I've never seen a period where you go, oh, this is the dry spell, or this is the summer blues. It never happens. It's like you guys are consistent throughout the whole year, and it's held. But the piece that really differentiates you guys, not only do you have a great system, but with the support on the psychological piece of overcoming the fears and the doubts and the greed and all that through, for myself, through the 20 trade exercise, that psychological support is huge. I mean, so you have both the technical with the system and the psychological with what you guys have provided. And I know you give kudos to Mark Douglas on it's his exercise, but you guys were the ones that got me to do it and hold to it and support me into it. And those two pieces, if you can get those two pieces down, you're going to be a master trader. And so you guys have a course that's not that expensive, and it supports people into their dreams. So I would recommend it highly.
Well, we definitely
we really have worked hard. Really worked hard to try to put together the best package for people to learn. So that means a lot to us.
For sure, and it is like you said, it's not just trading, but it's getting that headspace right, and that's why we refer to who we see as an expert in that field, Mark Douglas, for sure. So passing that along to help you guys out. In your experience, Richard, how important would you say that it is to build a solid foundation in the Forex market? And then along with that, what advice might you have for anybody who is looking to trade the MACD3 system?
The advice I would put in is, I think your course is like 4 hours long, but I would dive in. To me, it's like how successful you want to be is going to be dependent on how much time you put into it. So I'm not going to say you guys are going to learn this in 3 hours and you're going to be master traders. It takes time, effort, and energy to do this, but I can say it's going to be worth it. It is going to be worth it if you put your, go into it and really work at learning the system. And a lot of the other systems that I did, I put a lot of time, effort, and energy to learn a mediocre system.
Sure.
Which was frustrating because I would only find that out after I really learned it. But with this system, it's stellar. It's really, really good. And it's worth people's while to devote their time into it if they really want to become good at trading. This is it. You don't need to go anyplace else. This is where it's at.
Great. And I just as a quick follow-up to that, you talked about the time and commitment. As you're learning a system, you're really investing in yourself. What you put in is what you're going to get out. So what do you think is like a time frame, a minimum time frame that you think somebody should spend investing in themselves learning the MACD3 system?
Well, of course, it depends on if you've traded anything before, how familiar you are with the chart, what you bring to the table as you come into it. But I would say, if you've been trading and you're fairly familiar with the charts, you could probably get this down in 3 months if you really did it. And if you're brand new to anything, give yourself 6 months. And again, it depends on, you need to really devote your time to it. I'm not gonna lie, but it's worth it. I mean, this is really worth it. And it's not complex. It's not complex. It's not like learning physics. It's but to me, it's like if you want to get really good at something, you do need to put some time into it. So I'd say 6 months you could be doing really well.
Yeah, I just wanted to elaborate on that a little bit. This is Wade. It just reminds me, and we mentioned this in another interview. We've had traders in the past that come and take a peek. They take the 5-day trial, and then they end up leaving, not even having any idea what they just left. And or somebody that just stays for a month and then they say, okay, well, I'm out of here. It doesn't suit my purposes. Don't really understand that a lot myself. But one point that I wanted to just elaborate on here for a second is, you become a master trader of the Forex market. It can be one of the highest paid professions in the world. And I don't know of any other profession out there that gives you that opportunity that doesn't require going and getting a four-year degree or more. So for anyone to think that it doesn't take time, and if it were that easy, everybody'd be doing it, and it probably wouldn't have the potential that it has. So
another thing that I would throw out there, because I found myself doing it after a while, not with you guys, but I've been around the block a couple of times before I got to you, and that's why I recognized it kind of like right off what value you had. But I know when you're foraging through the wilderness, trying to find a good system, I mean, you can find something that looks, like, wow, it'll take a little effort for me to go into that, and then you have a spam email come in and go, all you need to do is put in 3 minutes into the system and you'll make $1,000 a day. And it's like those things can trying to go the easy route with people claiming that they have the easy route was always a distraction. And,
Oh yeah.
it's like,
I just
don't do that. don't go for those.
I'm convinced that they just don't exist, and if they do, and please somebody tell us.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, Richard, really appreciate your time and your insights. That's fantastic. Thanks for sharing the results you've had with trading the MACD3 system, the 20 trade challenge, and just for sharing that feedback with us. Really appreciate you and the time that you've been willing to put in to get to the point where you are.
well, one other thing I want to say is both of you guys, put so much effort into making sure that we get the system down. Your devotion to education is astounding, and I just want to say thank you very much for what you do, and I know what you do, and I really appreciate it.
Well, it's absolutely our
Those
pleasure.
kind of comments that keeps us going. So thank you very much.
Yeah, we appreciate that. All right, Richard, thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you guys.
You have a good rest of your day. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay,
You do a follow-up interview a little while down the road.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, great.
All right, take care.
All right, take care.